Hey, okay. So I'm gonna get right into it. Obviously, I cut my hair off. I don't really care if I rock the short hair look or if I look like a boy. Um, it's hair. It grows. I don't care. Um, anyway, so that's one change in my life. I did say I was gonna get a haircut, and so I just wanted to check in before the new year because I don't think I want to post another video before the new year. And I wanted to touch bases with, well, anybody who actually listens to my videos. um, so I usually feel guilty about eating stuff that I know I shouldn't eat, like unhealthy stuff. And I'm gonna say it's like cookies, cake, candy, stuff like that. And I used to binge on it. I used to overindulge and stuff like that. But lately, it hasn't been like that. It's been just me eating it and generally a serving size. I never usually go for seconds or anything like that. And it hasn't stopped me from losing weight. Like I still keep in my calorie deficit, but I do feel guilty for eating it. Uh, my hair wants to do its own thing. And so it's taken me a lot to think to get over that mindset that I demonize food because I eat it, my body can handle it, and it's not impeding my progress. So, and I enjoy it, and I don't feel. I mean, I don't feel physically guilty for eating it. I just mentally feel that way because it's been one of those things that was grilled into me with the whole dieting thing, and I'm trying to avoid say diet culture. So anyway, there's that. Um, so for the new year, I know everybody's like, oh, I'm not doing a New Year's resolution, or they do New Year's resolutions and then they don't stick to them. But one of the things I would like to do, actually, before I get to that, um, so there was some drama in my job. uh, I've worked for my job for over 6 years, and I've dedicated a lot of my time because my shifts were 12-hour shifts, and originally it was only supposed to be 3 days a week, which I would have survived on. It didn't matter. Um, so I would have been okay with that. But I ended up going to 4 days a week to help them out because I'm like, oh, they can't hire another night shift person. Well, I'm going to take on that fourth shift until you hire somebody else. And that never happened. That was like 4 or 5 years ago. And then I was like, okay, well, uh, they kept asking me to come in and work Friday nights. And I was like, since I don't have anything going on during the weekends, I was like, sure, let's do Friday nights. And then um, that just became a thing where I used to do every Friday night, but my client and I didn't get along when I spent a lot of that time with him. So I ended up just cutting back to every other Friday so that at least after I do the 5 days, I know the next week I have a shorter week and I can get a longer weekend, that kind of thing. And so it made up for it. I didn't get burnt out so easily. Um, but then I would sometimes get stuck there when somebody gets called in, when somebody calls in because I can't leave, legal issues, I can't leave. And I was like, okay, well, I'm glad I don't have a second job. I'd be fired from that second job because I can't leave my first one. Anyway, I dedicated so many hours. And I there was a high turnover rate for the staff in the office, and I tried to be personally, I didn't even care. As long as I showed up, got my paycheck, and did the things they required me to do, I rarely ever communicated with the office. Rarely. But recently, this, like, about five, no, see, it's December, November, December, so in September, I'm gonna start in September. I asked the office staff, whoever was working there at the time, I asked, um, I asked them, I'm like, well, how much vacation time do I have? Like, I haven't taken a vacation in 3 years. I want to know how much I accrued. It's been a few years because I rarely ever take one. I'm always just working. So I never really considered taking time off. Well, in September, whoever was working in the office at that time, whoever the ED was, ended up telling me, "Oh yeah, you have 80 hours." I'm like, "Oh, that's so cool!" So I bragged to everybody I had 80 hours. I was so proud of myself. But you know what? I only wanted one day, so I only was like, "Oh, I'll just take a day. I'm not going to do the full 80 hours." So I asked for Thanksgiving off 2 months in advance, and I'm like way more than advance than what they asked for. And I was like, okay, I got it in time. I got it in before everybody else. I should be able to take it. And they did. They approved it. The only snafu was there's a lot of administrative snafus that I had to jump through because they were a new crew again. The turnover rate, I wasn't talking to the same person that told me I had 80 hours. Anyway, so I just like whatever, just gonna keep going. um so I kept going, but then they took away on my birthday of all things. I heard from my client that the office told me I was going to be working Thanksgiving. When that communication never happened, freaking checked the I checked the text messages, the emails, everything, and nothing. I checked it like 5 times. There's nothing that said I had to work on Thanksgiving. It was the only discussion was about cashing out the remaining PTO that wouldn't roll over for the next year. That was literally it. There was no other, Kristen, you have to come in on Thanksgiving. There was no discussion of that whatsoever. I was under the impression that I still had Thanksgiving off because I was still off the schedule. So, anyway, after that, I just thought maybe they're lying to him, which kind of ticked me off because I'm like, why are they lying to the client? He's not stupid. And so I was like, whatever. So I get home later on that day thinking, oh, I'll just go by what they told me on what they have on the schedule. They didn't tell me any different. Just to find out that, no, we did tell you. They were trying to email me saying, yeah, we did tell you. Anyway, long story short, they lied. And they can't prove that they told the truth because there's no proof of this conversation. Anyway, so without going into further detail, there was a lot of drama about PTO. I ended up having to work on Thanksgiving because in the state of Washington, it is legal to take away vacation time because of staffing issues. Fine, fine. I didn't like being lied to about it though. Just own up to the fact you didn't tell me in time and say, sorry, we couldn't find anybody. We just didn't tell you in time. Own it. I'm still going to be angry about it. Yeah, but I'm not going to get, I'm going to trust you more if you just own up to your mistakes. Anyway, so there was that. They would not admit to any mistakes at all. And that even includes staffing. And I was like, no, that's not my job to staff. It's your job to staff. So don't say it's nobody's fault. So they weren't accepting any fault for anything. And I'm the only night shift person. So of course they couldn't even give me one day. And then what made me even more angry is that my 2 other coworkers that work there, they got to take their week-long vacation. I couldn't even have one day. So yes, it was severely unfair, but totally legal. Severely unfair, but totally legal. It sucks. Thank you, Washington State. And so I just accepted it. It's a big thing, whatever. I'm used to working on holidays. So I worked Thanksgiving. I did enjoy Thanksgiving. Awesome. And then I wanted to know how much PTO I had left because I'm like, well, I need to cash it out. They're not going to let me actually take vacation time because they couldn't even let me have one day. So I just need to know how much I'm supposed to cash out since I can't necessarily take vacation. Then I was quoted 40 hours by these new people. And I was like, no, that's not right because I was quoted 80 hours. They're like, well, who told you that? The last person that worked there. So it's like, oh no, we checked with corporate and it's 40 hours. I'm like, no, it's not. According to your policy handbook, it should be a lot more than that because I haven't used any. I mean, if it rolls over, I should have a lot more than that. I mean, come on. Anyway, so I asked the executive director to take a double look. I said, look into it. Something's not right. She did look into it. Oh, what do you know? I have 118 hours. Again, I only found this out literally the first week of this month. what do you know? So I'm trying to cash it out in time. I might not be able to do all of it by the end of this year. Whatever. I did find another job because obviously I kept fighting with the office about something I should have a right to know. It's not on my paycheck stubs like it should be, so I'm like, whatever. But I got a different job. And the reason I did this is mainly because of how the office was treating me, because I'm overworked and they weren't giving me the appreciation I deserved. So I was like, okay, well, you're pretty much lying to me, treating me like crap, and obviously being unfair to somebody who's your best worker here. I mean, if it wasn't for me being there, that client wouldn't even be there. But he literally swooped in and called another agency, and now he's using two agencies to cover the shifts that this other agency couldn't cover. So he had to take away some of my hours, and I said, I in my opinion, take whatever hours you want from me, because I'd rather him be fully staffed than to have me work the same wage. So I was like, just fill it. It doesn't matter if I can. It doesn't matter. Just fill it. But I couldn't handle the mistreatment from my company, so I was like, I'm gonna go look for another job. So I literally all I did was put my application out there, did the Indeed, and I got tons of bites. You know how they're vultures are like, oh, we think you'd be a good fit. Oh yeah, we looked at your resume, we think you'd be a good fit. But literally, I think all it does is auto scan. Like, oh look, you got these words in your resume. He may be a good fit. Sure, that's what happens. Because there's no way a recruiting manager or hiring manager is literally going to weed through thousands of applicants like that. I literally think it's automated. But anyway, aside from that, I applied for a few jobs and I was like, okay, I know what I'm worth. I know what I'm going to ask for. But I ended up getting a job that paid 75 cents more, but it's closer to home. So instead of paying $50 a week on gas, I'm going to probably be spending maybe 30 or less on gas a week. Oh, yay. And it is a consistent schedule. It's the 4 on and 2 off I'm used to, and it is actually less work. So, my thing is I want to get paid more money to do less, and that's what I'm doing. I literally am like, okay, but I do understand I'm taking kind of a pay cut because based on the hours I was working with my company, on average I was getting paid 25 an hour. That's because of all the overtime. Because every week I worked 8 hours to 20 hours of overtime, just overtime every week. So I got used to that overtime. But so going and getting like a 75-cent raise somewhere else for just a full-time schedule, it's a little different. So it is going to be kind of a pay cut. But I'm willing to do it because I'm not going to spend so much on gas. I'm going to have a consistent schedule. I will have the opportunity to work overtime. So I did get a new job. I discussed it with the client. I told him what was going on. He understood. He's like, "No, I get it." He definitely blames the agency because there's his two other staffs are leaving. So he's like, "Oh yeah, this isn't going to work out." Um, the thing is, I don't think he's really. Anyway, I'm not going there. I'm not going there. So I got a new job, and I'm excited because it gets me to be more social. I literally am ready to do a little lighter work that I'm used to, and be on a better sleep schedule than being on the 10-hour night shifts or the 12-hour night shifts. And it's only 8 hours, so I'll be able to do more during the day, have more time to do fellowship, all that stuff. I'm so excited for that. So I got a new job and I gave my 2 weeks notice, and I'm like, okay, now I need to cash all this stuff out. And that was another snafu I found out about. Yay, Washington State. um anyway, in blessing in disguise is the fact that when I'm out there, that block that he was trying to cover in his coverage for caregivers is available, and they can fill it with people who don't have to work as much of a wage. So that way they can probably fill it with more people, whereas I was probably almost capped out with the company, and I wasn't, anyway. So I am ready to move forward, It should be an easier shift. I like the communication that they have going on. They're very expedient about talking with me, getting back to me in emails. I like that compared to almost radio silence from the other company. Um, and I'll have more of a social life. Definitely. So I'm happy with that. So I got a new job, and I told them that I'm going to finish out December with my old job, and then and so that's basically my 2 weeks notice, because there's 2 more weeks in the month left. And then come the 1st of January, I'm not going to be working for this company. I'll go over to my new job. And so basically all that stuff is ready to do. I got all my certifications in line. I got all that stuff going, and yeah, so this is basically my new life. So the new year, here's my thing. For the new year, I am going to I guess I am going to make a New Year's resolution. Now, it's not going to be a weight loss one, because that's very typical, and it is kind of like self-sabotage when people make that. I would like to, mine's more financial, because I'm going to take a pay cut, and I'm not going to get as much money every year. But it seems like my biggest problem financially is my irresponsible spending on Amazon. We all got addicted to online shopping. So I have to cut back on my Amazon spending. And so my New Year's resolution is to find out how much I spent in year 2021 and literally cut that by 75%. Because there are some things on Amazon that I do buy that is totally justifiable. It's like cleaning supplies or necessities or whatnot, and that's totally fine. Like, I buy my kitty litter online. I do like my supplements online. Totally fine. Those are justifiable purchases, but like stuff that I don't really need. I bought a bunch of hobby stuff, arts and crafts. Some things I bought for other people, like gifts and stuff, that's justifiable. But obviously, I haven't even gone past September for all my purchases on Amazon, and I've already made it to over $4,000 so far. So I'm overspending on Amazon, and if I didn't spend that much on Amazon, then I would have that much more in my account. So I'm just saying that's my New Year's resolution, and that's a good resolution. I did cut back on a lot of my subscriptions. I don't have Netflix. I don't have Peacock. I don't have Hulu. I don't have Disney Plus. I even canceled my YouTube premium subscription because I didn't like watching advertisements. Cut back on that. There were other things I cut back on. I paid off one of my credit cards because I didn't want to have that coming in the new year. And then I kind of stocked up on some groceries that I could preserve in the freezer. So I didn't have to worry about buying it in the new year, because I only have 2 other paychecks that overlaps into the new year for my old job, and I need to be able to make a good buffer to be able to pay my bills on time, because I'm only going to be getting like 2 paychecks a month, maybe, if that, rather than getting paid weekly. So I have to get used to getting those paychecks, which is fine, because then it keeps me from spending it. Like, I had access to it week to week to week. So I get that part. So that is my New Year's resolution. I'm still continuing to eat healthy and exercise. Lately, I've been trying to increase my vegetable intake. And I don't mean just salads, but I mean like steamed vegetables. Like, I had carrots. I've been trying to add more. I have more spinach and green bell peppers, the colored ones, because they're more nutrient dense. And just eat healthier. Just eat more fruits and vegetables so that I can be healthier. Um, it hasn't stopped me from wanting to eat sweets. So the story I want to put on here, I thought is funny, is hold on a second. No, I'm not going to do that, because I hate the way my hair looks right now. I don't normally wear it like this. So the other day, I had to go grocery shopping. And it wasn't necessarily that I was running out of stuff. It was that, okay, I need to stock up on stuff that I need so that um, the stuff that isn't like produce and stuff, I need to stock up on. And I bought like bacon, some grilled chicken, cheese, bread, frozen veggies, steamable kind. Like I got a whole bunch of stuff that I stocked in my freezer and I was like, this is it. I don't have to worry about that for the next month or so because I have it in my freezer and I can get it out accordingly. And again, I don't eat a lot of bread, so I definitely stocked up on that. It's going to last a long time. But there's, you got lunch meat to freeze in there. I was like, I can thaw that out too, all that stuff. And I have a lot of coffee, so I bought some more of my powdered coffee creamer. I do need to buy some more sugar-free syrups, but I have to go somewhere out of town to get it because the one that's in town here doesn't have the ones I want. So I ended up just stocking up on stuff that it will save me a lot of money in my groceries come next month because the only thing I'd be stocking up on for groceries is perishables. And that's like fruits and vegetables pretty much and salads because that goes bad if you don't eat it. So obviously I can't stock up on that stuff. So I mean that is basically my diet. I don't eat a lot of um, snack foods or anything like that. I actually eat healthier stuff. Um, but I got all that stuff taken care of. And so a lot of my preparedness is to conserve money for the new year because I'm not going to be making as much money um, with my new job. uh, like I said, I got used to working all that overtime at my current job, but come New Year, that's not going to happen. I might still have overtime. I might have opportunities for overtime, most definitely, but it's not a guaranteed thing, and it's not consistent. So I'm just saying, especially when I'm new and trying to get the hang of things, it's literally I can't overdo it. I have to ease into it. So yeah. Anyway, so there's that, and then for exercise, there's been a few. I've been trying to mix it up. I've been trying to mix it up. There's been a few times where I haven't gone. Either it's because I've been lazy. Like the other day, I had too many errands to run. I had two errands to run, like get gas, and I had to mail off something. And then that's when I decided to go to the grocery store. And like by the time I got home, it was almost like 1 o'clock in the afternoon. And I was like, there's no way I'm going to get enough sleep to wake up to go to the gym. I was like, I'm just not going to go. So I didn't go to the gym because I had so many errands to run. Plus, I had to do a lot of putting away and prep work after I got the groceries back in the house. And so it was a lot of adulting that kept me from going to the gym. And so I was like, crap, I can't go to the gym. And then my hip, I want to say my hip, but it's that area. And it got stiff and I tweaked it. There was probably some inflammation, a lot of stiffness, and I almost like couldn't lift my leg up. Like it's hard to get into my car. And it almost hurt to start walking. And then I was like, well, I can't go to the gym if I can't work out because that's going to aggravate that. So I had to wait until that healed for me to, I mean, it may have been the way I was doing cardio or something like that. I don't know. Could have been how I slept on it. Whatever it was, I needed to wait for it to get better before going to the gym. So I didn't get to go a lot this week. I was supposed to go yesterday, couldn't because of my hip. It hurt so bad. And I got to work and then I could hardly walk at work. I was like, oh my gosh, I can't even get around at work. And I'm like, I'm sorry, my client's paralyzed and I'm like, I can't walk. Oh yeah, like he's gonna understand that. So I ended up taking a lot of painkillers, but literally this morning I was fine. I didn't have to take any painkillers or anything. So I'm gonna go to the gym. I'm not gonna be as brutal on myself as I probably was last time I was on going to the gym. So chest and triceps tonight. Yay. Um, so I'm going to go and do a workout, and Fridays are usually pretty bare because that's when all the youngsters are going out partying. So it's usually not as packed in Friday evenings. Monday evenings are usually the ones that are packed because they're coming back from their partying. um, but yeah, I need to go tonight. And then So my mix up, what I'm trying to say without going off on little rabbit trails, is I have been doing an hour of cardio, which I love because it gives me that runner's high, but also it burns so many calories while I'm there. I'm like, oh look, I burned like one time I burned 4,000 calories. Oh my gosh. So I was definitely not feeling guilty about anything I ate that day. um, but one of the things is when I do that, I don't normally weight lift. I usually just focus on that cardio, but I still want to maintain my muscle build. I don't want to lose it. So I think the next day or the next time I work out, I do just a little bit of cardio and then I do weightlifting. I think one time I did just a full body weightlifting workout where I focused on the top and the bottom and the core, and I didn't do any cardio. And because you don't really, I heard you don't need cardio, and literally all I really was focusing on was muscle building, not cardio. Because I did focus, like, so I'm hoping with my new schedule, I can literally work in, you know, do the alternating days, one day cardio, one day full body workout, one day cardio, one day full body workout, and it will like mix it up where my body's like, what are you doing? So, because I heard you have to mix it up and you have to increase your intensity. And so it will be easier to do like a full body workout without losing muscle and still being able to burn those calories at the gym and whatnot. So, yeah. So, what somebody asked me on one of my groups on Facebook was that how do you burn 4,000 calories? They're like, how do you do that? Well, I work a physical job already at the moment. And so I do a lot of maneuvering and stuff, walking around, cleaning stuff up. So I automatically burn the calories just from that. And it is a very physical job. I move around a quadriplegic. He doesn't move. So I have to be the force that moves him. So basically, I do a lot of that physicalness. And then by the time I get off work and it's time for me to go to the gym, I've already burned through like almost 2,000 calories just from already, because what I start at like 10, like I do some physical stuff at 3 a.m. and then we start at 8 a.m. and then the 8 a.m. routine, the morning routine is from 8 a.m. to 10 p.m. And just that little chunk alone. And then I have to like clean up stuff, get ready, come home, do stuff at home. By the time I zonk out in my bed to sleep for the following shift, again, I burn almost 2,000 calories. But without even going to the gym, on average, I burn 2,500 calories at the minimum without exercising. That's just how my body is. And at least that's what my Fitbit says. I'm sure that's going to change now that my new job, I'm not going to be as physical. Maybe I will. Who knows? Maybe I'll be rushing just to get the job done. But I'm not going to. Anyway. So I'm trying to balance figure out new ways to exercise without it feeling like a chore or hurting myself. Anyway, that's what's new with me. Like I said, for the New Year's resolution, I'm hoping not to frivolously spend on Amazon. And there's no like special locks I can do for Amazon to not spend. I wish that was true. I wish it was true. But anyway, so I'm still maintaining this weight loss. It's just slowed down significantly because I haven't been counting calories. I gotta be honest. I haven't been counting calories. Mainly because I'd like to take a break from that for a little bit because I generally do eat the same things. But also because of my level of activity, I generally need more calories. Um, and so, like, especially if I burn over 3,000 at the gym, I'm gonna need more calories. So I try not, because I know on average, see, I'm just trying to play with my hair. So on average, at the gym, close to 4,000, depending on my level of intensity. But I'm saying that I'm trying not to stress about food because oh yeah, the funny story. Oh my gosh, totally forgot. So when I went to the grocery store, sorry for backtracking. If you're following along, I'm sorry about this. This is like bird hopping. So let's go back to that spot. So I went to the grocery store and I walked in and they had the just like right in the center display for all to see when you walk in the doors, there's cake. Oh, there's cake. And they were pretty. They weren't, I'm gonna say they weren't pretty, but they looked appetizing. Okay. They weren't beautiful. And so I guess they might have been on sale. I don't know. It was one of those display tables. They're like, oh, look, there's cake. And I walked up today and there was like the little I want to say single servings, but there, I'll get to that. There's a single serving. It was a red velvet cake with really thick cream cheese frosting on the top. And I'm like, that looks good. I ain't gonna lie, that looks good. So I walked up there and on the container, because you would think, okay, that's a slice, it's a square slice, but the square slice of cake, and I'm thinking, oh, that's a single serving. I go up there and it says the whole container equals 930 calories. No siree. I'm like, I'm gonna walk on by because there's no way I'm not gonna eat all of that. No. So, so I walked on by. So that's number one. And then number two is I ended up walking through the cookie aisle. I'm not sure how I got there, honestly. And I remember trying the Oreo Thins, the lemon ones, and they were good. So I was like, oh, okay, I like those. And I was going to buy a package of those. So I put one to my cart. And then I got to the checkout stand and I looked down and I was like, okay, Kristen, what's going to happen here? I literally saw the future. I was like, I definitely would have grabbed that package of Oreos to go up front with me, and then I'd be eating a whole bunch of Oreos on the way home. And before you know it, I would have eaten a third of that package, well, probably half because they're thins, right? And then I would feel guilty about it. I'd leave it in my car because I know I would have finished it off had I brought it in here with me, and then I would have just finished it off by the time I got to work that night. I'm just saying. So what did I do? I took that package of Oreos out of my cart and didn't buy it. However, this is where I said the guilt factor is one of those things I'm working on. I did buy one of those chocolate caramel squares from Lindor or Lindt or whatever, and they're just a single serving. Actually, it said 2 squares. I mean, it's a single serving. And for like 60 cents, they had like the little tiny, and it's usually up on the checkout stand with all the candies and stuff. But this one was a closeout deal, and I was like, you know what? I want something sweet. Obviously, otherwise I wouldn't have stopped to look at that cake or almost bought Oreos. So I was like, let's just satisfy the sweet craving once and for all, and it is a single serving. So I bought one of those. Did not look at the calories, but it did satisfy my sweet tooth, and I didn't go over my calories. Hooray for me. Yay. Victory, victory. Now my only thing I want to work on is during my days off, or my time off, should I say, I need to work on eating healthier. And that includes when I go to my brother's, when I go to a friend's house, because those are the only 2 times that I ever really eat things that are going off my healthy eating habits. So I got to work on that. That could be another New Year's resolution, but it's just something I've also been trying to work on before the New Year's. But like I said, my major New Year's resolution for 2022 is to spend a whole lot less on Amazon for that year. I haven't tallied up how much I've actually spent, but come on, we're going on 4 months and I've spent $4,000. I mean, that's like $1,000 a month that I'm putting towards Amazon. I'm making somebody at Amazon rich. I'm telling you, you're welcome. Okay, there's that. Anyway, so that's my update. I don't have any like major opinions about stuff. I have been watching stuff on YouTube, but there isn't anything that needs to be said. I haven't needed to vent about any single issues. I mean, I'm not loving my hair at the moment, but this is not how I usually wear it. This is just the cleaned look because I don't style it. And it'll grow because I've done this before. But I do make sure to, like, when I have my hair this short, I do make sure to put on a face, to put on makeup to glam myself up, because right now I'm naked. I'm naked. Looks like I'm non-binary, but I'm not. So there's that. and just want to give you guys an update before the new year starts. So hope this makes better sense, and any questions, you know how to get a hold of me. Thanks.